to follow. Number two, a Fed weighted short. So when the federal government stopped buying assets, not only did NASDAQ waver, but that's when Bitcoin leveled out and started to drop. So when the Fed, which is the true market maker, stops buying assets in a particular class, that is a time too short. You guys can go back to the Mike Novogratz episode. Is to find out what those true hedge fund levels are on a macro picture. So if you can look at a decade chart or a 7-year chart and see where they're looking to buy, which is usually like anywhere from 65 to 83% off from the all-time high, they're looking to load up there or anywhere around that 95 to 97%, almost at that high. They're looking to short. So like a global macro swing trade, and like those macro swing trades, when I talk to Bonowin, usually last like 5 or 6 years. So like that, if you can buy again at Bitcoin at 20,000, or if it ever gets down like 13,000, to hold for a 7-year cycle and then exit, are my 3 favorite trades.
Fundamentally sound when it comes.
That's
to
true.
So what would be the safest thing for them to do? What would put them in the position that would mitigate a lot of risk? 2 tech,
2 index.
It sounds so simple, but most people won't follow it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's one of the best investment strategies, personally. For somebody who's just coming into the space, who's not really familiar, find two tech. Let's see who's the top 2 in a sector. Let's invest in that. Let's find 2 indexes. Maybe, I mean, you can pick. Vanguard, we talked about a bunch of them.
Mm-hmm.
Invest in that. Continuously invest in it. Learn about investing, and then maybe you can learn how to trade from that. But if you're beginning in this, which a lot of people are,
Mm-hmm.
and I say a lot of people because we saw the number of people that came into in the investment community since the pandemic.
Yeah,
I think that's one of the most important strategies. So I know you didn't want to toot your own horn, pause, but I wanted to give you a lot of credit because I think it's an important strategy, and it's one that's simplistic enough for the average person to understand.
Even on the macro hedge fund side, like over time, you'll get different price points. If you go to a wider time frame, like a monthly chart or a weekly chart, and look at volume profile, it'll give you the baseline price for where a lot of institutions want to buy. And the great part is that it's static. So if you go to a monthly chart, let's say a stock is at 150, the volume profile price may be 32.17. You may feel like it's never going to go there, but if shit hits the fan and all hell breaks loose, that is like a low to boat price indicator that you can use to know where to get in. Some people use it on a 15-minute basis, 5-minute basis, but I like all my indicators to be used over a longer time frame. And if you do that, going back to the decade chart, 7-year chart, for those of you who are on the institutional side, it gives you a good estimation of like where you can buy something like at a rock bottom price.